OBS? Is there something wrong? No, you just want to tell me you're active. Cool, thanks. Okay, you're healthy, you're injured, you're critical, and you're dying. So let's say I take three damage. It'd be 1, 2, 3. I would be in the I'm at the, I'm at the dying stage. Like, you can only really take 4 damage. And we can play on that with things like monsters who can have X stages of health, which allow them to have a lot more kind of leeway, so we have to deal with them better. But humans are actually fairly fragile. Like, for reference's sake, getting shot with a gun, for example, will kill you. Did we die? Oh god, I think we died. What? Why does it say the session here, but it's not here? When did we dip? Something was wrong. Unstable event for 23 seconds. Okay, what? You just died? You just ceased to exist. Alright, Twitch. Okay. There might be another ping. Yeah, weird. Welcome to Twitch, everybody, where we'll randomly see on OBS here. You can't see this, but on OBS here, everything's saying it's good. However, something clearly went wrong here because it's saying that I've been streaming for 2 minutes on the actual Twitch side of things. So that's nice. Yep, there's the ping. OBS. Yeah, I knew this wasn't going to be a long one, but yeah, I don't think it likes the music. Maybe let's change the music around. Maybe let's change it to there we go. You like guitar, right? You like guitars, Twitch, right? Right. That's what you like. Maybe we can close the book out here. Connection restored. Yeah, for some reason we just had a complete hiccup. Did the internet go out? Oh. Huh. Weird. I always like it when things like that happens. Apologize for my chat. Are you happy, Twitch? Is everything okay? Okay, good. Alright, so let's get back to it. So yeah, we can use the 4-point health system for humans. So it'd be a 4-point health. We can actually, yeah, no, but we can 4-point physical health, 4-point 4-point mental health, and finally, we're going to borrow a little bit of Tokyo Nova logic here. We're going to call it 4-point social health. So we will probably change the name of this. Because I generally don't know what the fuck to call it. Yeah, okay, we can use these, we can use a system like this, and pretty much, if you do good, you're going to get rewarded, but you can also very easily get corrupted by this, or have you go slowly insane, and it's very easy to lose a character, but it's also very easy to make a character. That's the point. So, Kidoki then. All damage is based off the dice rolled. That we could actually use. So maybe change that. Make the idea of the 2-hit. Actually, so we can do weapons add stages to the 2-hit. 2-hit with the average being 1. If I just deck you, if I just punch you in the face, I hit you successfully, I'm going to punch you, just bop you in the nose. If I do that, you're going to be injured. I bloodied your nose. Getting into a small tussle, not really going to be like an issue. If we tackle each other to the ground, start smacking each other, it's not really important. But if I deliberately go out of my way to, like, I'm going to hurt you with the intent of hurting you, yeah, you're going to do, like, a damage. You continually keep beating that person half to death, things are going to go wrong. Probably you're going to beat them to death. So weapons add stages to the 2-hit with the average of being 1. Oh. And that means dice can be spent. And to increase the stage of the damage. And maybe like a 2-to-1 ratio. So if I have a 4, I'll do 2 additional stages, but if there's a 6 in there, I can do 3 additional stages. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But you're burning the dice permanently. So the communal despair. So I need to write this one out a little bit more. So the idea, one of the key ideas in this game, what I want to get across is communal despair. One of the ideas is that the entire game is built around the prisoner's dilemma. Now, for those who don't know what the prisoner's dilemma is, it's effectively, to put it in kind of simple terms, you and me are going to prison. You and me have both been caught for a crime. We're going to go to prison. We're being interrogated. Now, the inspector has told both of us that if you rat on the other, the other will go to jail, but you will go free. However, if you both admit, you both go to jail. If neither of you admit, they both release you. The prisoner's dilemma effectively is, do you trust the other person to not rat you out? Given completely different situation. Do you trust the other person to not abuse the resource to guarantee something? And that is where things come in a little bit more interesting. Someone's cooking, by the way. It smells really fucking good. Ooh, good shit. I think I know who's cooking too, and if I'm right, that's going to be some good fucking food. So, if we're playing on the idea that this is one big prisoner dilemma, what we can do is you're going to roll a number of, like, communal dice. I don't know how I want to do it. I'll actually ask some of the Eastern Europeans, see what they have, if they have any suggestions on it. But actually, no, I know what we'll do. We'll call it commune dice. You roll the commune dice, which is going to be two times number of players. So minimum, you're going to have about 4. At high, you're going to have about 8. So, and the big thing is any player at any time can sub it out, can sub them down, sub a die out. So, let's say I roll a 3, 3 plus 3 and get a 6, but I need an 8. But I need to get an 8. Obviously, I failed the check if I need an 8. What I can do, though, let's say there's a 5 in that, let's say there's a 5 in the commune die, I can sub out one of my 3s for that 5. And suddenly, I have scored an 8 and I've succeeded. That's effectively all it's going to be working. But you're going to be gradually wanting to burn your resources. So let's say we have that similar situation. We cannot succeed right now. Our 6 loses to 8. We're going to take some damage or something bad's going to happen. We only have a 3 in the commune dice that we can really want to kind of freely use. So we can say all right, you know what? I'm going to add that commune die to my check. I'm going to add the 1. I'm permanently removing it from the pool to add it to my roll. I've succeeded. Hello, phone. I've succeeded the check. I have passed it. That's great. But it's gone now. And do you trust the other players to not abuse it? Do you trust players with that communal pool to not get it? Because it's entirely their decision. Now I'm going to have to put that as a rule. It is their decision to whether or not they draw from the pool or not. If they want to, that's great. Go for it. If they don't, though, if they don't want to, with that 4 people there, everyone's kind of looking at each other like, we can all take 2 dice. But they want a 3rd one because they need to pass this check or they're going to get fucking yeeted. Oh, God. So that's pretty much, yeah, we'll call this commune dice. We'll expand out this system. So, we'll have 2 times the numbers of players in commune die. Used to swap out a single die of any check. Use to swap out a single die of any check. But we can also use it for other things. So we can use it for able to increase damage. Able to increase damage, and what we can actually do is flat addition to the rule. And we can probably add in something as an emergency heal kind of thing. Grab 2 dice and you restore a level. So it's kind of like that desperation mechanic that you can use more things with that piece of those dice in there, allowing you, the GM, to be a lot meaner than you should be able to, because they've got their good boy resources, but they aren't getting any more. And I usually don't like meta currencies, but it's not really a currency, as everyone has to use it. Everyone has to understand that that resource is finite per session. And there'll be sessions where people don't go through it. That's fine. There's going to be sessions where you're at the last tail end. And it's like, oh, God. So what I can do, we can actually tie this to bonus. What do I call it? Yeah, bonus vouchers at the end equal to the commune die. Commune die pool. Vouchers allow you to buy additional things. Now you're going to get a certain number of vouchers by virtue of just completing the mission, by just doing what you're supposed to do, but it's never going to be enough. So you always want to save those communal dice so you get bonus money at the end. The problem is, you also want to use it for other things. So do you really want to sub out that 6 for a 1 because you really need to succeed? So Darkness is sending terrible monsters who don't care. Government is always changing the rules. Can break the rule. Actually, what we can do is... So, monsters are individualistic and rely on their own means and abilities. Let's see. The government always changing the rules and needs of the team, and always under pressure. Always under pressure to deliver resources and vouchers to the commune itself. Because you need to, like, this was kind of like a vague idea I had like early on, and it was the idea that you kind of also need to accommodate the fact that you are part of a commune. You're all working together, and just because you're hunting Satan monsters doesn't mean your responsibilities for the commune aren't being done. You have to send resources to them. You're sending vouchers and shit like that. Actually, what we'll do is, I think we can add in... We'll do classic Gothic monsters will be the main thing, plus a little bit of Eldritch Abomination thrown into the middle for good measure, because we always need Eldritch Abomination in the middle because things are spooky. And I don't want to go down the ooh-woo, they are fish people. No, more on the lines of, in the grand cosmic scheme of things, you are a little more than a peasant. Which is the joke, kind of. The government sees you as a peasant, disposable asset. The beast you're hunting sees you as that as well, so you're kind of playing off that idea. Which reminds me, I'm going to have to put in the note. We're going to have it right here. Vouchers equal official useless currency. Vouchers, and what would be a good old Balkan? What would be a good Balkan state we want to reference? We can reference Serbia coinage. Dinars. Medieval Serbian coinage. We can have the dinars. Bulgarian coinage. What do we call it? Okay, you know what we'll do? We will reference. Done to question time. Let's do at here. Which Slavic state? Which Slavic state has the best name? There we go. As you can tell, we're very professional here. Mouse, what are you doing? It's one of those ergonomic mice. And I was like I click it once and like this is the like basic one. Like if I go down, like this is like fucking usable, and then it's like ooh woo, here's like this is me going across. Like hey, I just want to give you guys the idea, the true sadness of what it means to be, you know, notepad and on. So this is me dragging my mouse. This is the lowest DPI across my screen. Like I'm halfway across my fucking mouse pad. That's insane. Here's the second one. This is the one I've been using because it's kind of like the most comfortable. Like this one's a little bit fast. And then we have hyperspeed, which I'm literally just like, I'm going to tap my mouse here real fast. I've barely moved this fucking mouse, and it is already, like, rocketing across the screen. So we need to use purple. Is that? Yeah, good. Latvia is a actually it is does Latvia Slavic. Does Latvia is not Slavic. It's not a Slavic country. It's primarily, let's see, a Nordic because it's part of the Balkans. Well, actually, no, it's part of the Baltics, not Balkans. Don't worry. I got fucked up with that for a long time, too. Is Slavistan a real country? Let's see. It's not. Land of the Slavs would be technically the incorrect term. Now we have to do is let's see. Is Lithuania Slavic? Not Slavic. Yeah, they're Baltic countries. Yeah, like these are the Baltics. They're north. They're primarily it's Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Kaliningrad, and like northern Poland are all considered the Baltic states, not Balkan states. Very different. You just like L's. That's what you just like L's, don't you? Let's see. Bulgaria. Okay, we got Bulgaria, the Macedonian, the strongest, and the Serbian. Long live the Balkans. Yeah, pretty much. So, okay, looks like we got Bulgarians and we got Bulgarians in here. Oh, Billin. That's hilarious. I love that name. Let's see. What would be an Asprees? Asprees, uh, otherwise known as silver coins, are the unofficial, useful currency in the countryside. So, there we go. That's literally all. I just wanted to see what kind of money. Ah, yes, the proud. Yeah, that honestly, let's be honest with ourselves, Ajax. Are is France really the proudest state of the European Union? Italia, Hungary. I don't question it, Draco. Don't question it. Let's see, Hungary. Are Hungarian Slavs? Slavs? Hungarians are not Slavic. Interesting. We've done it. Kyrgyzstan. Look at let's. Is Kyrgyzstan a Slavic? Kyrgyzstan Slavic. Is Kyrgyzstan a Slav? No, it's not. It's not a Slavic country. It's fucking Kyrgyzstan. That's Central Asian. Is there really such a thing as honorary Slavs? Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be. You would imply that there's honor. I should give Pistoleros. I should give them a special tag. Like congratulations, congratulations! You're the official Slav. Well, technically, Poles do have the official title of. Now, give me 1 second. I need to, Polish Haitian relations. I need to. Let's see. Since surviving Polish legionnaires, believed to have settled in Haiti after the war. Where is the exact? Okay, so I just want to clarify this. This is historical. This is Haitian's first head of state, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, called the Polish people the white. It's historical. Don't worry. They literally got the first N-word class. So anytime you're like, man, that Polish guy is being a little bit racist, remember they have the official N-word pass, and you don't. So, take that, atheist. You're getting banned off fucking Twitch. Yeah, I can't do that. Can't use that term. I am the mods. I don't want Twitch people coming in here already. I already get accused of being a hyper racist. I need to at least. There we go. Yeah. Sorry. Like, I still got to play by the rules, even if I, pretend to not. So, it says can break the rules. SASB, civil current, unofficially useful currency in the countryside. Always pressure to deliver resource voucher to the commune itself. The commune's needs. Maybe a commune happenstance chart. Like a monthly. Actually, what we can do is like a monthly service fee. How do I want to do this? Monthly tax on on the hunters to deliver resources, to deliver vouchers to the commune, or things go bad. Since things are going to be lethal, we can probably, we want to be really really dangerously evil. What will you do if you keep failing to tax? This keeps going down, because guess what? You're becoming more poor. Your people are starving. Oh God, we can't keep saying these. Boys, please. Yeah, no, Twitch auto mods will fuck me if I don't do this. Like, Twitch knows. Twitch isn't stupid. Am I not racist, or am I racist? I love everybody. I think everyone is good. Some people are. Okay, how's the best way to word this? Everyone is good. That's what I think. I think, as a default, all of human nature is one of positivity. And okay, but is it like a bell curve? I believe people are naturally good. I believe that people are at their core noble. Humans are at their core noble in a way. That we will go out of our way to assist others who need assistance, and we will help those in need. Are there people that are not as nice. Correct, there are, and I think those kinds of people who are naturally negative bring a lot of other people down, and people tend to make heuristic assumptions about others based on those assumptions. If you always eat an apple and the core is rotten, you're going to think every apple has a rotten core. It's it's kind of that idea. Like if you only see the negative in things, you're only going to, or you only experience the negative in things or see the negative in things, you're only going to get the negative. And if I want to be in my slightly based opinion, or my here's a little bit of a, only slip you on a red pill there. People have a very bad tendency of seeing the worst in others, and one of the main proponent of that is media stuff. Because I will always say this: person does good thing is really boring. Like just had like a news angle. People do good thing, really boring, really dull, no one gives a fuck. People are inhuman and do something insane, that's news, and people want to show that. And again, if you're always told that the apple's core is rotten, you don't want to eat an apple because you're convinced it's going to be rotten. That's my one red pill of the day. Don't blindly follow the opinions of others. Make sure. Eat an entire continent of apples, and three of those apples haven't built a wheel. Well, what you're specifically referencing is completely incorrect. That's completely incorrect in a few cases. Mostly because you're dealing with. I think that if we're continuing the fruit analogy here, that's like saying Granny Smith apples are the same as the green apples, which are the same as the weird gold apples. Comparing them all, they're the same concept, but very different, and we don't see that many different varieties of things. And the ones who did do a lot of cool things, well, they were picked early. Let's say that. Picked to extinction, we'll say. By the. And if this was a little bit more of a private conversation, I could go over it a little bit more. However, uh, that's going to get me banned on Twitch if I do that. Yeah, it's like I can go over the details. I can continue the fruit analogy, but I've done a lot of research on nah, on fruits. No, I've done a lot of fruit research, and there's some really complicated things that go on with it. I will say this though: blame American fruits. Do not blame where fruit came from. That's my one. That's my one thing. Blame America. We fucked those fruits. Uh, okay, yeah, okay. So the channel is still here. We still have a channel. I'm gonna have this video is gonna be fun to upload. But okay, so we've got this. We may need some charts here, but I don't really think we're gonna have to build a monster. Build a bear workshop. Yeah. Because like one thing I want to get across is like this section right here. This is where you're going to get a lot of personality. And building your like main antagonist for like a few sessions, it should feel kind of scary in its own way. Like they have a lot more personalities. than the hunters themselves. And that's kind of on purpose, is that the hunters are by their nature a disposable asset of the government. You are going to be thrown into the meat grinder to die because we just need bodies. And that's kind of going to be kind of the dread in there. See, if I had it my way, again, infinite budget, infinite everything, what it would be is all of the hunters in the community and kind of the normal people, you would never see their eyes in the artwork. It would be very plain, very brutal, and you would never really see their eyes. You never have a lot of personality with them. While the monsters, on the other hand, would be very expressive and very mean. These guys' artwork would be a lot more impressive than ours, and you'd have that like kind of distinct back and forth of it, you would have that distinct back and forth of like this very brutal people versus the very, artistic but the very kind of dread, like scary looking monsters. And one of the big things I want to get across here with Iron Hunter, more than anything, is that the government is not evil. The monsters aren't necessarily evil. What it is people doing things because they need to. There's cells that combat the monsters. It's going to be really cells. The best way to kind of picture it is I want you to picture this, Reiko, that you have this old society of monster hunters. They are venerable, they are ancient, they have thousands of tones, and it's very ancient order. However, the problem is, when the revolution happened, half those guys got strung up on a noose or just shot. However, the new government came in being like, okay, good news, we have all the information. Bad news is we absolutely have no fucking people anymore to actually do this. All the old hunters were shot, killed, or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to draft peasants. We are going to get a bunch of these commune peasants. We're going to draft them for the Ministry of Extraordinary Affairs. We're going to set them up in a bunkhouse in the city. We're going to arm them. And we're going to have them do things for us. If there is a vampire, we're going to send them to kill the vampire. Will they return? Probably not. But we'll at least know it's scary. Because they don't want to send the actual military, because the less people know, the better. To them, you're peasants. You're going to die in the factory, you're going to die on the commune. They don't care, and no one's going to believe you, because nobody cares about each other. Soldiers have guns. You have about 20 years of farming experience, and no one really knows your name. Yeah, it's a lot of you will die, and that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. And that's kind of where the papers please aspect comes in. It's like you are just a very much a footnote in the the cog. And the idea is you kind of want to buy yourself out of it, being like you want to serve your time and leave. And one of the big things is that the government is always going to be putting stipulations on you. And sometimes they're not going to even think about it real far. It's just what the government needs at the time. Okay, the government has mandated no civilian may own a firearm. And when you approach them to like, okay, here are my vouchers. I need to purchase this Mosin. We have 2 bits of ammo. The government official is going to look at you and being like, ooh, you're a civilian. By legal law, I can't actually sell you a firearm. But we're going to be hunting a werewolf. and that werewolf will have to be dealt with using other means. Like, you have so much gum in the system to just gum up everything and make things a lot harder on you, the players. But and you're gonna have sometimes being like, okay, all religious artifacts are banned for the month. You know, we're celebrating the fact that we don't have religion anymore. We need holy water, though. No, you don't. Exactly, but every official's got a price. And that's one of the main things where it's like, you can subvert these, but it's going to cost you. Oh, well, it's usually 10 vouchers to get the Mosin with 2 clips. No, I can't sell it to you. However, I can do some paperwork around. However, my friend, I need something more. And so you got to cough up 20 vouchers. You know, a couple didn't, you know, a couple ASRI. And that's where it's kind of like that split in the currency. The Aspries versus the vouchers come in. Aspries, everyone knows that the Aspries have like literal value. They're silver. While the vouchers don't really have any value except from what the government says they have value. Exactly. That now you're seeing Draco. That's what I mean. Like, you can break the rules. You're just playing with fire. Very much so. You are how far are you willing to go to survive? Do you want to live? And be like, well, we ran out of resources. What do we do now? Do we, when we're in the field, do we kind of wing it and hope for the best? Or do we go in there and try to do something else? And you're always going to have kind of those ideas of like citations and I the idea of just gumming up how you are playing, of forcing you to change the method of your style, of what you're doing, is the key idea of this game. It shouldn't feel fun. Actually, I take that back. It should feel fun, but it should feel like you're gripping your hair, you're ripping your hair out, you're like, God damn it, why did the government put a ban on fucking silver? Half our currency, if it gets found, we will get a dozen citations for it. We have to hide all our money. Or we have to get rid of it by the end of the week. Fuck. A little bit. It's just like that. Like in, I don't know if you've ever played Papers, Please. Uh, yeah, like with Papers, Please, how it would start is check to make sure the date on their passport's accurate. All right, yeah, no, it's valid. Expiration's good. Take it and go. By the end of the game, it's like, okay, you gotta check the passport. Is the passport accurate? Correct. Okay, is it? Are they from Orbistan? Yes. You can't. They can't come. Are they? Do they have a proper vaccine permit? Do they have a proper work permit? Do they have a proper, it was like a Ministry of Work permit? There was like these millions of things, and people would fool them, and there would be like citations and issues of each little part. And you could try to break the rules, but you could also not break the rules, and it was this back and forth of you playing, the person looking at it just dying internally. Exactly. And that's kind of like what I want to play on that concept. Is you have this very simple idea. Go out, kill monster, come back. Simple. But it's all the little things get stacked on top of it. It's okay, so we could do this. However, the government doesn't want, like, the government wants something, or the government has taken away our ability to use firearms for the month. We can't arm everybody like we used to. Holy water is unavailable. Silver is unavailable. What do you mean that this month we're having celebration and no offices are open? what do you mean we have, like, just nothing is open? Because the government has decided they don't want to have it open. Oh, hey, it's a military parade. All the guns are quadruple the price because they need to give, gun in every soldier's hand. It's like, why are you doing this to us? Why? we and one of the ideas is, like, if you tell people, like, we fight vampires, no one's gonna believe you. That's wacky and weird. The government finds out you're telling people, you go to the sadness camps. To the gulag with you, comrade. So hopefully this works. I'm like, the core system isn't going to be that complicated. Looking at, like, the main, I think just writing everything down, we can probably get this game done 3-4 episodes, maybe? Depending on how things go on Monday, we may be able to rip and tear through a vast majority of the game in a week. That will be my goal. See how far we can get in a week. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, this is pretty easy to do. Like, that's not going to be, like, that complicated. This section's going to get bulky. This is going to get bulky. And combat's going to get a bit bulky. Those are going to be the other, like, the big ones there. But I'm pretty content. Yeah, no, it's like, I like, see, I actually found Miro on complete accident. Someone recommended it to me or something, and I'm like, oh, this seems pretty fun. So, yeah, no, it's like, if you ever use it, it's free. So, like, I liked using it just because it helps me visualize, like, where things are going. It's like, okay, well, not... I'm the person who will, like, overcomplicate his notes drastically. So I'm like, just to have, like, these very limited, like, I only have a little bit of room to actually work with, kind of helps me restrict things. I used to try to do it like, oh, I have to keep it inside of the box. But, that stopped happening. God, Enzo, I need to work on you. Please. Also, I consulted people about Notepad's Naval Adventure. We'll do the I consulted some people about this, and the answer is roughly coming. The answer for these are, there are no answers, and nobody knows what the fuck they want from a naval game. Nobody knows. Nobody really knows. And it's like, please, fuck, what do you people want? And that's going to be, this is going to be a sticking point when we get to Notepad's Naval Adventures, that I might have to just, like, make a TG thread on it and see what people think. Just because it is that much of a fucking weird... Like, the Azur Lane people, that's, like, really high action. I have really no idea how to do that. Naval game that just has boat girls in it. Well, this is action naval game. And the waifu core toolbox, it'll be a dollar toolbox system. This is what it'll be. So what's on the list for tomorrow, actually? Because we actually have a big stream tomorrow. We're going to be doing the curious... let me bring up the curious cases. We're going to be doing a curious case tomorrow, actually. We're going to be doing the curious case of games that made it. Maybe wondering, what is that, Notepad? What is the curious case of games that made it? There are games that are cool, games that are interesting. To a degree, what it is at its core. Inspire myself with... Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I know that feeling. But we're going to be doing the curious case of games that made it. And by that, it's games that came out and are a thing. Like they exist, which is an odd thing to like celebrate in a way. Like, oh wait, what do you mean it just came out? It just exists. And I find these are important just because like these are some interesting games that like came out that you can buy that had a this will be the second one about furries. The curious quest of furry RPGs. That was nightmarish. And actually, I take that back. It was weird, but it was a good kind of weird. We actually looked at what's that game? Iron Claw. Iron Claw is a phenomenal game that is just unfortunately furry. Like that's the weird thing about Iron Claw is that I love Iron Claw. I think it's a really cool game. Again, if you ever find anything, do not hesitate to send it my way. I have some games that are not pleasant on here. Do not Google FAP, by the way. That is my one request of you. I have FAP made me sick. That is like a degenerate piece of shit. The ones I looked at in the first the Curious Quest. Yeah, there was a furless version of Ironclaw. To me, that kind of defeats the purpose, like of like just the absurdity of the lore and stuff. Like the system works though. I actually really enjoy the system. It's one of those games where like you just want to be like, I want to see more of you. And then there's Furry Pirates. Furry Pirates is hilarious because that fucking game is the most detailed look, like absurdly detailed look at about like 1700s piracy and like the 18th century, kind of into the 17th century, 18th century. I don't know. It's not albedo. I don't know. Is not albedo where it is more relevant, where it doesn't work with that. Albedo's interesting. And albedo is on the list because not this albedo. Albedo sci-fi. Because albedo was actually created by there albedo anthropomorphics. It was created by where was it? Where is his name? I always forget his name. Steve Galici. It was written by a guy named Steve Galici. Steve Galici is one of the founding fucking fathers of furrydom. And that's the odd thing. And then it was very I actually talked to Steve Galici. I actually had a like face-to-face conversation with him. I worked at a furry convention for a weekend. That was a trip. He has no fucking idea about all the new furry stuff. He does not understand any of it and he doesn't care. And I adore it because he is his own special kind of autist. And that's why I would want to look at it because albedo is so old and it's kind of like serves as such as like a forefront for it. And if I am from what I remember reading through some of it way back in the day, it does go over his because the thing is the guy was in the Air Force. He loves his tech. He loves his science fiction and he goes over graphic detail about all of the little bits in it. So, and that's what I kind of noticed with like Furry Pirates too, is like that's like a 200-page fucking book where half the book doesn't like you could just read the book and use it as a setting guide, just ignore all the furry stuff because it's that fucking good. There's so many information on like historical boats, how many cannons, how many stuff are on there. One of the best naval combat systems I've actually read, too, when it works. But it's furry. And that's kind of the one thing I was noticing a lot with furry stuff, is that there are some really odd ducks out there who do some really hardcore stuff. And people are... Bunnies and burrows, not quite. Like, I could see the argument. Bunnies and burrows, if I were to do it, I would go actually in the franchise games, and it would be about, or I would put in the legally distinct franchise games about its watership down. Like, my thing on furries, like, it has to be kind of like, I know it when I see it. Like, Hicksvant Draconis. This is hilariously furry. Like, this is Hicksvant Draconis. Like, this shit is insane. And people adore it. Like, this fucking thing got a second edition. Like, you gotta remember that. Like, this got a second edition. That's porn. This is just porn now. And, like, that's what I mean by, like... Well, the first thing that pops up is furry. You damn well know it's furry. Yeah, we're gonna go over that. Actually, I don't really have that much, because FAP is probably going to get moved into the Curious Case of Degeneracy. Because it's that bad. I read it and I was sick, kind of thing. Now, yeah, no, but the 4 game, we're going to be going over 4 games. More like 3, with the 4th one being the very special guest. But we're going to go over Viral's Engine Heart, Busty Barbarian Bimbos, which both of these I actually thought about doing TG stuff, because both of them originated on TG. But they made it, though. They got the Kickstarter, they got their funding, and they're out. You can buy them. And I want to see kind of like that's where I got the idea. Eoris is just gorgeous, and it is impossible to read. Ever seen the meme about like the how your character sheet? This is Eoris's character sheet. It, It was written by, I believe it was an Argentinian guy, he was an Argentinian artist, and he had never played any games, he never read any games, he would just want to do it for his art book, effectively. Viral used to be one of the big guys on TG. This was way back in the day, like 2009. He used to be one of the big guys on there. He made a bunch of games. We actually went over a bunch of his games about a month or 2 ago. He made Wetsuit. He made Engine Heart. He made Joints and Jivers. He did not make Busty Barbarian Bimbos. That was another guy. But Viral was like one of like... When Engine Heart hit Kickstarter and succeeded at its goal, it was kind of seen as like, wow, someone made it. Like, he's like a legit game dev now. But the saga of it is a lot more tragic than that, and that's kind of the sad part. And I can go over some of the bits of it tomorrow. But Eoris is weird, because it was written for that, and I always thought this was a meme. I honestly didn't believe that this was an actual game, but it totally is. However, the main thing is, it's the guy's art. This is all like one guy's artwork here. It's kind of hard to see. Like this is just like a guy that he wanted to do art stuff, and I'm fascinated in it. It's sold like it's a game that you can buy. And that's always something like I've always been like fascinated in, being like, this is something someone has paid money for at one point. Someone has paid money for this. He has a Twitter. I didn't know he had a Twitter. Hasn't updated since 2015. Oh, he's got a. Oh, okay, yeah, we get to go exploring it tomorrow. Yeah, no, this is an older. Yeah, tabletop sold on Amazon for 30 bucks. 424-page limited edition, never to be printed again. Uh, this is what I mean by like this shit is like really pretty actually. Like I want the cover on my fucking wall. Like it's that kind of pretty. But I love this kind of artwork. But so what's the special guest? You may be wondering. Notepad. What is our special guest? Who what what game are we looking at? What thing are we going to be taking a look at? Well, my friends, we're going to be looking at a very special game. And let me pull it up here real fast. Where are you? And I said I wouldn't do it. That's the thing. I said I wouldn't do this. However, I I thought about it a bit more. And I debated on it, and I finally kind of, I wouldn't say surrendered, but I want to say that I made the executive decision. Oh yeah, no, Spanish games. There's one company in Spain. It's no Celeroso, no Celerolo. I can't remember the name. They did a game called Pandemonium. I would love to get their games because some of them look really fascinating, and we'll never see them because they're Spanish. And here in the States, we hate Spanish people. But the very special guest for tomorrow is well, this little game. That'll be a fun one. But that's going to be that. Keep quiet now. We don't want anyone to know our very special guest. Yeah. It People have been actually asking me if I'm going to do like go look at it, and I'm like, it's a little bit too big, it's a little bit too popular. But I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go through it, and I'm gonna give my thoughts on it, and it's gonna be like I'm calling it. We're doing 3.5 of them because I'm actually not gonna go too deep into it, because the game everyone kind of knows it already. I'm just gonna go over like a very brief idea of it and being like, game interesting. Yeah, no, that's kind of the tragedy of a lot of those games. And if I had $1 million billion, if I had infinite, yeah, I know, if like I had infinite money, if I had infinite resources, what I would do is I would start a company dedicated to translating those kind of RPGs either to English or translating English game, American games into other languages that may not really get that just to disseminate things. It'd be like, hey, I want to like translate like on the top of my head like fucking what's one of the ones I got in my little book here. I would like to translate like not fucking 5e, but like there's a lot of games like I have somewhere I can find them there, but I can't right now because I'm very tired. But I would like to do that kind of back and forth, like because I want to see more Spanish games in English, and I want to see some of these like little indie games that don't get any love translated into other languages so more people can play them. And there are so many games and a frankly absurd number of games that we'll never see here stateside or even in the West in general, just because they don't really have that popularity. And I kind of went over. Yeah, no, the Polish game about the Witcher, yeah, the old Witcher game. It's there was actually I actually went over this in the made video. Is really one of the only reasons why we've been getting any Japanese tabletop games at all is because they're really weeby. They appeal to a very certain market and appeal to a very certain people and who are going to play it, and going to buy it, which makes sense. But it's like, man, I would love to see. There was one Spanish game. It was Ancient Aliens versus Cavemen, and you play the cavemen. I saw that and I was immediately in. I'm like, I want to fucking play this so badly because it looks so fucking stupid and I need it. But it was in Spanish and I couldn't play it, and it was just like that's actually kind of an interesting idea. There's I know there's a few of like the Dark Eye stuff that don't really in German that don't really make it over stateside. And like I would love to see some of these games from other countries get translated over. I know there's a few Italian games that are really interesting. They use like tarot and stuff that I'd be interested in seeing. And the thing is like I know for a fact that if people were more confident in like, yeah, I could sell my game to other people or hey, I want to explore more markets. I think that's like the odd thing is like here in the West, this is going to be very tired notepad. It's like 11 at night. It's a little after 11 and I need another cup of coffee and be like my fifth today. But we like to say, "Oh, well, we're a diverse we're diverse and we love all this and we love other people," but we never let other people do anything with it. Like that's why like Swords Fall really bought like Swords Fall will never get translated into Swahili, for example. You may be saying, "Well, nobody hardly speaks fucking Swahili." Like why would, but like there are like 2 million to 90 million people who fucking speak Swahili as L2 speakers. Almost 18 million people who speak it. Or how we don't get a lot of like people who like Chinese Chinese speakers. Like you have like this huge like you have so many different people that like we're gonna write a game for you, but they aren't really. They're writing a game for them that these people will never see. I'd be fascinated. And I think we'll see a lot. There's a lot of games, I think, in other countries that we will never see or never hear about because it's in their native tongue. Of course not. China actually I know South Korea has one. I don't know where it is. I heard it exists. I just know that it exists. China's actually kind of interesting because they actually have this is CanCon. That's not right. Where is it? CanCon, China. And yeah, it's kind of hard to find stuff on it because it's fucking Chinese. But I don't really want to go on Facebook. But it's there was like this huge convention that comes on every year. It kind of got canceled these last 2 years because of the coof. But they've been doing a lot of stuff there by trying to get people into board games and try to keep people into RPGs and stuff because one guy thought it was interesting. He wanted to play more with his friends, and so it's like okay. There was also one thing there actually is you have the Chinese phenomenon. Call of Cthulhu is huge over there, and the way I've always seen it, it's you have like these really powerful apps that can do a lot of things, and like China wants you to interact with people, and they want you to get out with like your phone and stuff and to play the games and stuff. They want you to do that. They just want to make sure it's regulated. That's the main thing, and like that's what I think would be. I would love, and like there's a reason why I have one of my games that I would love to make, which is I've always memed it, but I'm actually like perfectly serious when I say like I kind of want to make this just to see if I can. but it is right here. The Communist Party of China approved games. I would love to see it because I would be curious of what they would want. What would be a design goal of a Chinese-based company? Like, what would be a design goal of a South Korean TTRPG? I find that really interesting. But do we ever see those? Well, no, not really, because they kind of get drowned out. And I think people don't want to make it because it's like, well, there's so much support and we always get translated. But I would really be interested in finding those. Actually, I'm curious. Let's go. Let's see if there's any South Korean tabletop RPGs. Oh, that's not a good sign. Fucking Reddit post. Roleplay. Okay, it's 2012. Oh no. Oh no. Oh baby. Is this it? Yeah. Loosely based on the book Magicians. Tabletop role-playing game Magicians is designed to do more than just get paid. Not everyone a teacher fluent in the language. Okay, let's see. We're going on a quest, everybody. Yeah, here's literally a Korean game right here. Honor fan and soul set designed to tell a great story and facilitate the learning of another language. Like, have we? Is this game real? Let's play that game. Let's see. Oh, that's not good. 6 years. Oh, oh no. Yeah, no, it's. I would like to see other games from other countries. I'd love to, but it's kind of like a sad reality. Like we probably never will, and like that's one of those things. Like I would love to like have a company or start a company that really encourages people to do that and has like assistance of like, hey, I want you to do this. Please get out there and like make games for the world and let people really enjoy things. I think that would be really cool. I think we'd get a lot more interesting things like this, which is in Korean. It's not even really Korean because it's by a guy named fucking Kyle. Fucking Kyle. But I would love to see what they do because I bet you, I bet you that there are games out there that people have made that we'll never see. And that's the saddest part. I think there's probably some Arab kid, probably not much older than us or even younger, who has on his fucking like bootleg copy of Windows a cool game he runs for his friends every Saturday because he heard about D&D on a fucking video or something. Well, he can't play D&D. Actually, is there an Arabian copy of Fifth Edition? I gotta know. Arabian language 5e. Uh, content in Arabic. No, there's no Arabic core book. Oh wow, that's actually kind of interesting. But like, there's probably some kid who can't play Fifth Edition and wants to, so he's just kind of like trying to glean information from what he knows of English, and that's like how we got 3D and T. Like this is the Brazilian game that was literally made by a guy who kind of vaguely understood who knew English but like couldn't get games in Portuguese. So he instead just made his own And this guy apparently is like the one of the biggest designers in the fucking area in Brazil, but he's also fucking Brazilian who made a bootleg version of his own game just because he has. I'd love to see it. That's all I can really ask for. But what I'll do is I'll call it there for today. Kind of had a little bit of this feel and sadness about what it means to enjoy games. I hope everyone kind of enjoys games that they want to enjoy. So thank you all. My name is Notepad. I will catch you on tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow at noon EST, we'll be starting The Curious Case of Games That Made It. Godspeed, good luck,